Here we go, best of Apple takes on the best of Samsung, the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. This was Apple's best chance to finish off Samsung at their own game. Did they do it? Well, we're gonna find that out at the end of this video. Let's talk about value. It's 2023, pricing wise, these phones are absolutely expensive. $1,200 kidney asking price for both phones, but again, Samsung is a little bit better than Apple because they actually offer free upgrade of the storage in select markets like US, so you can get 512GB model for the same price. They also have slightly higher trade-in values than Apple, plus you get slight discounts on other Samsung products, so overall, Samsung does get a bit of edge, but they both are pretty damn expensive. Now, design-wise, when it comes to just visual look, both companies have found their design identity, so it's really gonna come down to your personal preference. But there is one area which, if it's important to you, it's gonna have a big difference when it comes to real-life usage, and that is all thanks to the new titanium material that we have on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, making it a whopping 11 grams lighter than the Galaxy S23 Ultra's 232 grams weight. As I said before, this 10 gram lighter weight is going to make a big difference in real life usage. Even Samsung knows the benefits of the titanium material. We're actually going to see this on the S24 Ultra as per latest leaks. But for now, titanium is only exclusive to the iPhone 15 Pro and the Pro Max. Now, perhaps the absolute biggest change on the iPhone 15 Pro and the Pro Max has to be the USB-C edition. And well, out of these two phones, only one of them is the clear winner. Can you guess which one? Yep, it's Apple. No, I'm kidding. It is actually Samsung. While both phones have Gen 3 USB-C port for 10 gigabit speed transfer, Samsung's USB-C port actually has brain cells to offer faster charging of up to 45 watts, while Apple still stays the same as the iPhone 14 Pro's charging speeds. The difference is hella noticeable as the S23 Ultra charges in under 1 hour time, about 57 minutes compared to 1 hour and 44 minute time that the iPhone takes for 0 to 100%. So while all of us are proud of Apple for bringing USB-C port, including Samsung, they still clearly win the USB-C war. Now, other than titanium and USB-C, Apple introduced the action button. This new pressure sensitive button can do range of different functions, from changing the ring profiles to launching camera, enabling flashlight, etc. There are a lot of functionality, especially when you pair it with the Apple's shortcut application. While Apple's implementation goes a bit deeper, Samsung already had an action button in the form of its power button for quite some time. You can set different actions depending on double pressing or pressing and holding the power key. There are 4 functionalities that you can implement on top of opening any application. So like I said, Apple's implementation goes a bit deeper, but we have this sort of ability on the Galaxy S23 Ultra as well. Now, display wise, surprisingly, Apple hasn't done anything different here compared to last year's models. So we have slimmer bezels, but still with 2000 nits of brightness, which is more than the 1800 nits that we get on the S23 Ultra. The big difference comes down to the dynamic island build, which is a cool software trickery. I mean, it works great with third-party apps, giving you a pretty easy ongoing notification, but it's still not a major feature. I still personally prefer the cleaner look that we have on Samsung with that one punch hole in the middle. Especially when I'm watching Netflix, I just prefer to do that on my Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now, performance is where Apple can cause serious problems for not only Samsung but other Android manufacturers as well. The iPhone 15 Pro comes with a 3nm Apple A17 Pro chip versus 4nm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 on the S23 Ultra. On top of having better CPU scores and slightly better power efficiency, the biggest jump comes in the form of this new GPU on the A17 Pro, where it can actually run console games. Yes, we're not kidding, the iPhone 15 Pro series will be the first smartphones on the market to have proper console games coming. Games like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, these are proper console games that are coming for the first time on a smartphone absolutely bonkers. And well, Samsung, they like to talk all about ray tracing in their keynotes, but they never actually work with these game studios to bring console games for their phones. I gotta say respect to Apple for taking the mobile gaming to next level. Considering the recent boom of handheld gaming consoles, a lot of people will be tempted to choose the iPhone 15 Pro series over the Samsung Galaxy devices for this particular reason. Now moving on to cameras, this is where the script turns a bit because Apple might actually be in trouble. Apple has actually killed the 3x zoom on their iPhone 15 Pro Max for a 5x periscope zoom sensor. And that is just not enough to compete with Samsung's monstrous 10x optical zoom that goes up to 100x while still offering you a separate 3x optical zoom for portraits, which is something iPhone does not have. Meaning the iPhone 15 Pro Max will take digitally cropped 3x portrait mode photos. And according to science, these digital portraits won't look as good as Samsung's 3x portrait mode photos unless Apple has done some algorithm magic. But seriously, that 48 megapixel sensor has to do some serious magic in order to keep up with the quality that you get from an actual 3x optical zoom on the S23 Ultra. So once again, between the Samsung and Apple camera comparison, Samsung still is the undisputed king of the zoom. Now when it comes to the main camera sensor, Apple has done a pretty key change, and that is the phone takes 24 megapixel shots by default, not 12 megapixels. So you can either take 24 megapixel shots or take 48 or switch to raw 48 megapixel mode. On the other hand, Samsung has 12 megapixel, 50 and 200 MP camera modes, so both have great flexibility when it comes to high-res camera modes. However, this will majorly comes down to who does the image processing best, because when you switch to high resolution, there's a noticeable difference in dynamic range as I've seen on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is why Samsung has kept the sensor at 12 megapixels by default. So if Apple is going 24 megapixel by default, they probably have figured out the HDR processing. So considering that, they could have an upper hand over Samsung when it comes to the detail level out of that main camera sensor. Now as for video, there isn't any major change. We still get the same kind of features. Apple still doesn't offer 8K video recording like the S23 Ultra, which by the way is not a gimmick. It actually adds extra details compared to the iPhone 4K videos as being tested multiple times. It's just not as reliable when it comes to the colors and the way it manages exposure. So overall, when it comes to consistency and reliability of the video performance, iPhone will still have an upper hand. Now when it comes to battery performance, I personally expected that the iPhone 15 Pro series will just thrash the S23 Ultra, especially when you consider the 3nm chip, but surprisingly, Apple hasn't mentioned any improvement on their website, so we're likely going to see the same battery performance as the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which means Galaxy S23 Ultra will still have an upper hand because not only it offers similar battery performance as the iPhone 14 Pro Max/15 Pro Max, it does that in combination with a faster 45-watt charging, so collectively, your phone is lasting longer and is charging quicker, so Samsung still wins in this category overall. And lastly, software-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is packing iOS 17 versus One UI 6.0 based on Android 14 on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now we are at a point where both of these two operating systems are pretty mature and they're gonna satisfy pretty much any user no matter which one you choose. Depending on which current ecosystem you use right now, that is going to be a big deciding factor between these two operating systems. With that being said, there are still some key strengths like Samsung offering proper DeX mode, which transforms the S23 Ultra into a laptop, something the iPhone 15 Pro Max cannot do despite having the A17 Pro chip, and of course the iPhone still can't do the split screen multitasking. The S23 Ultra is the only phone on the market to still offer a built-in stylus for all those drawings and writings. On Apple's side, we see some strong features such as iMessage and FaceTime, along with proper console games that are coming exclusively to the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, something we're not gonna see on Samsung devices for a bit of time. Android versus iOS is going to be a subjective choice. So the question remains, did Apple finish off Samsung at their own game? Well, no. They had all these years to come out with a proper periscope zoom, only to come out with a 5x zoom length. Same thing can be said for the USB-C port since it doesn't offer Gen 4 speeds, along with no faster charging. I do appreciate the titanium build on the 15 Pro Max, making the phone lighter along with the A17 Pro and the whole console gaming. If that is something specifically you want, then the 15 Pro Max could be a good choice, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's not forget the S23 Ultra is still a few months old, so the proper comparison will come in the form of S24 Ultra, which is actually rumored to pack one of iPhone 15 Pro Max's prime feature, and that is the titanium material. So for that you might have to wait a few months till January, I guess. But yeah, that's it for this comparison. Again, let me know what you think about Samsung versus Apple in 2023. Subscribe if you're new here, because we're going to be doing a lot more coverage on the iPhone 15 series, so you don't miss out on any video. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Apple can't stop trolling. The iPhone 15 is looking to have the most drastic design change in the recent years, while also changing the entire landscape of the future iPhones with the addition of USB-C. But as we know, Apple always does something different, and well, they never learn. According to one of the most reliable Apple news source we have, Ming-Chi Kuo, the USB-C is happening on all iPhones, but Apple will only bring faster transfer speeds to the Pro models, while the standard models will stick to the prehistoric times USB 2.0 speeds. Imagine in 2023 a near $1,000 iPhone with super slow USB transfer speeds. It is absolutely insane. I don't know why they're doing this. It's not like USB 3.0 will cost them a fortune. Yes, we appreciate Apple what you have done with AirDrop, transferring files between Apple devices over the air. It's amazing, but still, there's absolutely no reason for them to have a USB 2.0 wired transfer speeds on an iPhone in 2023. This is some next level trolling, but let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Also, breaking news, the iPhone 15 Ultra would use the latest Sony camera for 2023. This new Sony image sensor will have a saturation signal in each pixel, which will allow it to capture and control light better, especially when the subject has a strong light behind them. It's gonna improve the HDR massively over the iPhone 14 Pro series, which can be a miss or hit in those scenarios. Now, it's unclear what sensor Apple will use, but it could actually be the 1-inch Sony sensor for its Ultra model to create even more differences versus the Pro and the non-Pro models. Also in the news, the new iPhone 15 lineup will have the most drastic design change of any iPhone in the last 3 years, with titanium material for its build quality with rounded sides, kind of like the iPhones of the past, making them easier to hold while also making them stand out compared to the boxy curvy look of the iPhone 12 and beyond. This might actually turn out to be a really good design, especially with titanium. With that being said, the pricing could go up since iPhone 15 Pro Max is being replaced by the iPhone Ultra. Best believe, people, there will be an Ultra pricing as well. Now, speaking of the Ultra, rumors are once again saying that this will be the first iPhone to have a proper telephoto lens, likely up to 10x, challenging the likes of the Galaxy S23 Ultra next year, with Apple A17 Bionic chip running the show, which is going to be possibly the first mobile chip with a 3nm architecture, making it the most efficient, along with 8 GB of RAM. Yes, Apple is expected to bump the RAM even more, making the iPhone 15 Pro lineup ridiculously fast and efficient. I'm really looking forward to what boundaries Apple will smash with their A17 Bionic chip. But with all the good, the trolling continues. USB 2.0 based USB-C port is coming for the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, while the faster USB 3.2 based USB-C port will be exclusive to the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Ultra. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.